Okay. We'll continue with our council meeting. Our next presentation is CEO Javier Tamarago, Ian Upjohn, Environmental Director, Paul Rattan, Design and Construction Director, and Rob Hems, Design Build for the 407 East Consortia, to overview the 407 East Phase 1 undertaking and to update on the project's timelines. Evening.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Mayor, members of the of the council, the staff of the city of Oshawa, ladies and gentlemen. As the mayor said, my name is Javier Tamargo, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the 407 East Development Group. The 407 East Development Group, that I will introduce in a minute, is the company who has signed the contract with the province of Ontario to build and maintain the extension of the 407 to the east, the phase 1, the first phase of that extension for a period of 30 years. I will go briefly over the presentation so we can have things moving. Okay. To oversee the scope of the projects, the area covered, between the arrows, the blue arrows you can see, is the extent of the first phase, what we call phase 1 of the 407 East extension. It covers in the east to west direction from approximately Brock Road to Harmony in Oshawa, with the addition of the West Durham link that links with the 401, approximately along Lake Ridge, parallel to Lake Ridge. Okay. The scope of work for the construction is about 35.3 kilometers in length. It's a 4-lane highway in the most of their length, with a 6-lane highway between Brock Road and the West Durham link, which adds to 150 kilometers of highway, with 9 crossroads and 2 major highway-to-highway interchanges, and a total of 56 structures. And what it probably interests more to the council, the schedule of substantial completion is December 18th, 2015, and we're committed to maintain that date. During the operating period that will continue after the construction is completed for a 30 years term, the 407 East Development Group will be responsible of incident response, pavement and winter maintenance, long-term rehabilitation of the road, as well as emergency response and structural and electrical maintenance. To give you a big overview of the different parties involved in this endeavor from the private sector, the main contract, it was signed on the May 15 between Infrastructure Ontario, in representation of the province of Ontario, and the 407 East Development Group. That is a general partnership composed of 50-50 between Finter Infraestructuras and SNC-Lavalin. The 407 EDG, and I want to introduce 2 major, members of our team. I will consider so you are familiar with them. Is that the design? So the 407 East Development Group has maintained all the financing risk of the road and and has also fronts and deals with all the contractual issues with the province. And supporting us on this role, we have a design-build company under the name of 407 East Construction General Partnership, which is composed of SNC-Lavalin and Ferrovial Agroman Canada, as well as for the operations, maintenance, rehabilitation, another company created by the same partners, which is OMR 407 East Development Group General Partnership. Related to this last one, most likely you will receive notice on the follow-up council members, because with this company has been negotiating with the city of Oshawa for the winter maintenance of the municipal roads that they are intersected by the 407 East project. So more to follow on that one. In terms of roles and responsibilities and how these these different companies are interrelated between them and the Infrastructure Ontario and the province, I prepared this description of the different roles. The province of Ontario has two major representatives in this project. The Ministry of Transportation, who supports the land acquisition, the environmental assessment and the initial environmental permits, and also perform the technical review of the project, and partners with the Infrastructure Ontario, which has the responsibility for the overall project oversight, the project management and delivery, and the project compliance. That's on the side of the province, and on the side of the private sector, as explained before, we are partners between the 407 East Development Group, which is responsible for the financing, communication and consultation, construction oversight, environmental and quality oversight, and design oversight, and the 407 East Construction General Partnership, which is responsible for construction, environmental management, traffic management, utility relocation, and the design of the road. To move to describe the different areas of responsibility under our scope, I would like to emphasize in the communications role. This is one of the main responsibilities of the 407 East Development Group, and we consider this as a key part of the success of this project. We are really committed to have an open communication with all the stakeholders and with the general public, and to communicate, the progress and of the project and anything that may be interesting for the general public. For that purpose, we have opened a public information office that, some members of this council, including the mayor, assisted in our open house that we had last year. Is located in 400 Dundas Street East in Whitby. We have a staff in that office to respond to a question of the public or find the answer they may be needed. We have our webpage, www.407eastphase1.ca, and we were also using social media, toll-free number, and e-newsletter for anybody who sign up in our website. And also, we are conducting a series of public information centers where the proposed design for the road is presented for the general public to have an opportunity to provide comments. And the next upcoming event, it will be precisely tomorrow at the Brooklyn United Church in Whitby. This public information center will run approximately from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and with an hour before from 4 to 5 for city members and officials and regulatory agencies. I would like to add that in the communication field, we are coordinating with the communication departments of the cities, including Oshawa, and we conduct regular meetings with them. I would like also to show which our overall plans for the DCRs and the public information centers that I described before. As some of you already know, we had the first public information center last year in December 13 in Oshawa, in the Legend Center here, and we will conduct in the next one this January, tomorrow in Whitby. But this next one will cover a series of structures and stream relocations throughout the project, so the construction can move ahead. The next ones that we will be presenting are related to the segment B1. The segment B1 covers here, you can see here, the south end of the project intersection with the 401. That will be in March, as well as segments A3 and A4. Segments A3 and A4 are this section around Brooklyn and getting into Oshawa along the main lanes, and segments A1 and A5, which is both ends of the project, the eastern end and the western end, will be presented to the public in June. After that, segment A2, which is the connection between the West Durham link and the main lanes, will be presented in July, to finalize in August with the community value plan and the landscaping for the whole project. I already described that, and I will leave this information for your reference in terms of we're talking about this in the future. Just to give you an oversight of what are the main activities that we will be performing in the next upcoming months, we will continue performing the design, including the geotechnical investigation and surveys. We will complete the archaeological works that now they are being, continuing even in this inclement weather. We are doing a great effort to optimize and to minimize the work, to minimize the time dedicated to that and not affecting the completion. So we have been working this winter in archaeological. Rob has been dealing with all that, and I think that this is the first project in the province of Ontario that has performed archaeological activities during the winter. So we're setting a precedent here. We'll continue doing demolition works in the upcoming weeks, and then preloading in some earth fields and some activities. Working on detours and clearing, that will be our main activity, and is scheduled to start in the month of March. Then we'll continue with some grabbing in the high priority locations, as well as starting the construction on some structures, on some of the crossing, continue general environmental investigation, and the stakeholder consultation and all the necessary work that a project like this requires. As an issue that is, of interest of the city, I'd like to brief them, briefly about the construction, staging, and traffic management. At this point, we can say that the location-specific staging and traffic management plan for detours and diversion will be developed as the detailed design progresses along this year. At this moment, we are in a preliminary stage of design, and we will conduct, our regular meetings with the City of Oshawa staff and the Region of Durham operations before those plans are presented to the public. And in any case, the information about road closures and detours will be provided through the project website and with email updates. With this, I would like to, introduce the environmental director for the project, Ian Upjohn, that will continue with the description of pre-construction works and the environmental effects of the project.
Thanks, Javier. Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'm sure we're either close to the end of our allotted time or have surpassed it, so I'm going to go over these last few slides very quickly so we can get to the Q&A period. From an environmental perspective, the province has developed a number of what are referred to as environmental frameworks to guide our work. One of those is referred to as the Built Heritage Strategy, and I understand this is a fairly topical matter of discussion in the city. I notice it's on the agenda tonight. That framework addresses building demolition and the salvage and adaptive reuse of materials from heritage homes. At this point, there are about 5 houses that we're focusing our attention on in the city of Oshawa, and we're currently working with your staff cooperatively within the bounds of our agreement and the Occupational Health and Safety Act to accommodate the city's desires in terms of picking up some of this material. Next. In addition to the discrete frameworks, the province also developed what's referred to as a community value plan during the environmental assessment stage, and it's a more comprehensive plan that addresses some of the softer design elements ranging from things like landscaping through stormwater management and the heritage commemorative sites. That particular plan is our responsibility to complete, and we'll be presenting that at our Public Information Center during the summer of this year. Next. You're ahead of me. Our group is acutely aware that major highway projects like this bear a number of concerns from adjacent communities, noise being one of those. Generally, our contractors will be required to work within the hours prescribed in your noise control bylaw. However, there are a number of activities where we're going to have to work at night or work on weekends to expedite the schedule and meet our schedule. So short-term pain, maybe a little short-term pain to get the schedule completed on time. There may be times when we will be back before council or will submit applications for exemption from your bylaw. That's yet to be determined. Air quality and generation of dust, of course, is another concern. I can tell you now that we'll be employing standard methods for controlling dust. We are actually establishing, the province is established, and we will be carrying on 2 air quality stations within the project on the north-south link in down south near 401, and the closest one to the city here would be over in about the middle of the east-west link near Brooklyn. Water quality is often a concern as well, particularly for those who are on domestic wells adjacent to the corridor. And I can tell you that, again, the province has established surface and groundwater monitoring programs, both for the protection of wells and fisheries resources, and we're carrying on that program. And we will be constructing permanent stormwater management ponds for the treatment of highway runoff to protect the surface water resources in the area, as well as groundwater resources. In addition, the province has also secured permits under the Endangered Species Act for 1 tree species, 1 fish species, and 3 bird species that have significant implications as far as our schedule is concerned. We're currently working with the Ministry of Natural Resources to come up with a strategy that will allow us to adhere to the permits while meeting our schedule.
That's all.
That's it for our presentation. So at this point, we're open for questions.
Thank you. Councillor England?
Thank you. Through the chair to the presenters. You had mentioned the archaeological dig that was taking place on the 3rd and 4th stage. I'm wondering if there's an opportunity for you guys to come back, or for the province to come back and present the findings of that archaeological dig, and sort of what would the time frame be for a presentation like that to take place?
We have 11 sites that were key to it.
Excuse me, you need to use a microphone, please, if you could.
Just sit down.
We have 11 sites that were key to our early works that we started the archaeology with.
Introduce yourself.
My name's Rob Hems. I'm the design build director. Of those 11 sites, we have 7 of them completed now with very little findings. The other 15 or so sites that we will be starting on will wait for the spring, and there's no problem. We will be putting together reports for both the province and the municipalities if they're interested.
We are interested. And my next question would be, you had mentioned the 5 heritage properties. Does that include the Magna Robson house out of the 5 properties that you had mentioned earlier?
Sorry, are they what?
The 5 properties that
Yes.
you mentioned earlier for heritage, does that include the Magna Robson house, which is located on 268 Winchester Road West?
Yes, that's one of them.
And part of the preservation of that, are you aware of the notice that went to the Ministry of Transportation from the City of Oshawa, which asked the protection of the Heritage Garden and the front portion of Magna Robson House.
I believe that is, we're aware of that, yes.
Okay, so I also just wanted to introduce you. Diane Stevens is here. She's the new chair of Heritage Oshawa. She's interested in meeting with you and introducing herself so that you guys can connect, and I think she's going to stand up. I know that's not a question.
We have been in touch with Diane, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to...
She's been out at the Public Information Centers. I'm sure we'll see her again tomorrow.
Yeah, she's here tonight, so thank you.
Councillor Peterbecky?
Yes, and thank you for taking some questions. With regard to heritage, and you're right, we do have it on our agenda, and we do want to preserve whatever we can, but I'm wondering, what shape are these buildings in? Is there anything left, or if they've been gutted, or can you give us an update on it? Because many of us, of course, don't know, and I'm wondering whether we proceed with this or not. I'm not. Can you give us a little breakdown on that, please?
As is typical with these things, the condition of them deteriorates on a daily basis. Most of these facilities are open to the weather. There's certain biohazards that concern us and potential for structural problems certainly come to mind, but also people are going in there and stealing things. Of course, we can't, there's no security on a site that's 35 kilometers long, right, that can watch every home. And I believe that there'll still be significant amounts of things available, but if we're using the sheet that was put together 2 years ago as a guideline, I would suggest that may be somewhat optimistic.
Okay. So they have been allowed, I mean, people have come and gone. I'm sure there's been a lot of things that have been removed. So anyway.
We board up some of those houses 3 and 4 times a week, and there's always someone with
I'm sure. And we appreciate that. I'm just wondering whether we need to go to the expense. There may not be anything left in there to salvage is my concern at the moment. But in any event, we'll have some staff maybe reporting on that. If we can get back to just the route, and maybe you can help me out here. The shovel isn't in the ground yet, if I'm correct, with regard to starting the process. It's just the EAs have been done, and tree cutting and that's all that's been done at this point. But you still maintain you're going to be on schedule?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Now, comes the part, I don't know whether you can help me or not, but I live in the area of Harmony Road. It's one of the busiest north-south connections with the box stores at the north end, 401 in the south end, Bloor Street, which takes traffic from Curtis to the east, heads traffic to the port, to General Motors, to the industrial areas in the south end. So during peak periods are very, very busy. And I'm wondering, can you maybe enlighten me and some of the people who live along that corridor, right from north to south and in the area of Bloor and Harmony Road, what do you have, people have in store, or is there anything in store with regard to an interchange or anything at Bloor and Harmony that might alleviate some of the problems that we already have in a large way, and this is just going to enlarge on them even more? Is there been anything at all that we can get any information on with regard to that?
Sorry. I believe that would be a question for the province, and particularly MTO, to answer. I'm not aware of any program to introduce interchange at that location, but again, I think that would be a question best answered by MTO.
Yeah, we've asked that question to MTO. I was just hoping you might give us a surprise here, but you can't.
And we cannot.
I appreciate that, and thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Sir Neil?
Yeah, thanks very much, gentlemen. I was at their Whitby opening, and I also was at the December 13th Legends Center. And there were some concerns from the residents in that area that showed up and got in touch with me after. In regards to some of the buildings that are now vacant north of Winchester Road on Harmony, like what exactly is the status of those? Are they being moved? Because right now, like you say, there is theft going on. Copper wire has been taken out of the walls, siding ripped off, everything. Garage doors taken. This is all just being done like every day, and I'm wondering what's going to happen. It's just going to continue on, or what? If you can answer that.
I'll take that. It's our intention. There are some places where we have to look with Diane at some heritage issues, but other than that, we're pushing to get the permits in place to do the demolition.
Okay, so they're being...
The safest way for these things is to be torn down. They're going to be torn down eventually, and we were trying to get that done, but appears that some former owners, there was deals with their electricity or this sort of thing, so having trouble with getting the utilities disconnected. But when we do that, it's our intention to put a very quick effort on getting the hazards to go away by tearing these buildings down.
Well, the wiring's disappeared, so I don't think there's a problem with utilities anymore. But I was going to end, along with the lighting fixtures are gone too, so a lot of them. But these aren't historical buildings. They're just buildings that have been purchased. They were nice buildings at one time, but now they're just being completely run down by what's going on.
Yeah.
Also, that Harmony Road, if you could advise me, the city will not maintain it anymore. That's north of Winchester Road on Harmony Road. There's a stretch there, I think it's probably halfway up that concession, that the city is no longer responsible for. I've had issues with the condition of the road and everything else. I mean, that road still has to be used. So I'm just wondering, the residents are concerned about what exactly is going to happen out there in the next little while. Okay, say a time frame is 6 months.
Well, let me take this one. So that's one of the segments of the road that has been assumed by the ministry and has been transferred the responsibility to maintain to the 407 group. So the 407 group has been working with the city and has their own contractor to perform maintenance on that road, and we are aware of some pothole repairs that have been needed and has been taking place, and the intention is that until that road eventually gets completely rebuilt as part of the project, to continue working on maintaining the same quality of road that it was there before.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. And also, when you do this, when you're finished with the 407, what is going to be the major route from the 401 to the 407?
We believe that the West Durham link will be the easiest and the high capacity link between both roads. The West Durham link is the north-south connection between both that will run parallel to Lake Ridge on the east side of Lake Ridge.
And what about Oshawa?
For people in Oshawa, they can always take that one and go on the 407 or take one of the other arterials that cross.
And the link from the 401 to the 407 will be the busiest link from the 401 to the 407 will be what? In your mind, what are you planning on?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
The busiest link from the 401 to the 407.
You're referring that which
in Oshawa
of the arterial will be the busiest? I don't have that information with me.
Well, I'm kind of concerned about that, and especially in regards to commercial trucks and whatnot. I don't think we have the infrastructure in Oshawa to support a large transportation network right through the city. So,
I understand that.
Councillor Sanders?
My question is in regards to the heritage buildings, because I thought I heard in your presentation that you're going to preserve some of the stone or whatever. Are you going to use that inside the 407 design somewhere? Along the Oshawa corridor? The stone or the blocks?
The reactive reuse.
The province has generated a list of material that they feel is of primary interest to them, and that might be a primary interest to us in terms of establishing commemorative heritage sites. And it includes stonework, either in gate pillars or in houses themselves, or fences, woodwork, bricks. So there's quite an extensive list that we have of materials that we'll be taking out of the houses along the route that are of interest to us.
And the province. Thank you.
Councillor Aker?
Just to the delegation, thank you for the delegation. We as a council truly welcome the 407 East Development Group. This extension of 407 will positively change our city forever, and we wish you all the best over the next 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, would it be possible for a copy of this presentation to be emailed to the clerk so that we can distribute it to members of council so they can?
Yes.
And we have it? We have it already, so, okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Seeing no more questions, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor England?
Can I also just ask that this be referred to Heritage Oshawa, for information?
Sure. You can, we'll refer it to you and you can send it to Heritage
Okay.
Oshawa. Okay.